All right, so welcome to the stage, Jeffrey Sass from Mixer.
Thank you, Laura. Hello. Hello. Hold it down there. Scare you away. So I'm going to talk about why your social media strategy is an octopus. As Laura mentioned, about 3 years ago, a little over 3 years ago, I started a blog called socialnetworkingrehab.com. And I did a series of public service announcements, and I thought I'd start with one of them because it was shot here in Boston 3 years ago, and you might recognize a few of the people in it.
I'm Todd, and I'm an addict.
I'm Chris, and I'm an addict. My name is Jesse, and I'm an addict.
I'm Jeff, and I'm an addict.
I'm Jeff. I'm an addict.
Yep, Preston.
I'm Scott, and I'm a big addict.
I'm Joe. I'm recovering.
I'm Ann, and I'm an addict. Social media addict.
I'm on Facebook several hours a day. I just joined Orchid, and I'm setting up a MySpace page.
I'm Doug, and I'm an addict. I'm Doug, and I'm an addict. I'm Doug, and I'm an addict.
Thank you, invitations.
Thank you, invitations. Thank you, invitations.
I'm Doug, and I'm an addict.
So from rehab to reality, having done social networking rehab, it enabled me to speak about social media at a number of events. I've been fortunate to attend many 140 comps. I've talked about how you can turn your social media addiction into an asset. I've talked about how everything I know about Twitter I learned in grade school. I've asked the question, is that a phone in your pocket or are you just enjoying the show? And I talked about listening and hearing and how important that is in social media and how our vices are our devices. And today I'm going to talk about an octopus. But all this time I've been talking about social media and writing about it and living it. It's never really been my job. I work for Mixer. Mixer is a mobile technology company, and we run one of the top 10 mobile websites in the US. Great place to get free, cool content for your phone. But social media was never part of my job description. It was just something I did for fun. Until now. We just did a reorganization at the company, and all of a sudden I had new marketing responsibilities added to my plate. And I was told, go out and create our social media strategy. You know, which is a big word, and I don't want to debate whether you should have a social media strategy or not, but I will say that if you're a marketer, if you're a brand, if you're trying to push something, whether it's yourself or a product, you certainly need to have social media and have the social media tools that we all use as part of your marketing mix and understand how it can help you meet your marketing objectives. So faced with this new task, I did with what anyone else would do who works near the beach. I got my snorkel and fins, went across the street, dove in the ocean to think about it, and I swam to a reef about 100 yards offshore from our office, and I saw an octopus swimming by. And I watched that octopus swim, and I realized, that's it. That's how I'm going to develop Mixer's social media strategy. So I did a little research on the octopus, and it's a pretty amazing creature. You know, you've got these 8 tentacles, and you've got this big head and the brain in the middle. So imagine that you're the octopus. That's you in the middle. You or your brand or your company. And each of those tentacles really can be one of your social media outposts. So you have to look at all the different things you can do in social media and treat them as one of your tentacles. So Facebook might be one of your tentacles, and when it comes to Facebook, you want to think about, you know, what are you doing? Are you going to have a Facebook fan page? Are you going to be including like buttons on your own website? So Facebook is one of the tentacles. Twitter is obviously another tentacle. If you have a YouTube channel and you're going to be creating videos, that becomes another one of your tentacles. And of course, each of these tentacles might be different depending on what your business is and what you're trying to accomplish, but these are the tentacles I thought were important for Mixer. Flickr, if you have a Flickr page and you're going to be posting pictures to Flickr, that's a tentacle. MySpace, if it's still relevant to you. Your blog, of course, becomes one of the tentacles. You might want to do podcasts, audio or video podcasts can be a tentacle. And one of our tentacles is something we're calling Remix, where we're actually surprising people in our community with customized content for their phone. So those are our 8 tentacles. And like the tentacles of an octopus, these things are often intertwined, and then they often work independent of each other. And that's what's neat about it. So if you create a video and put it on YouTube, you're also going to tweet that to your Twitter community. You're probably going to post that video on your Facebook page. You might write about it on your blog. You might incorporate it into an episode of your podcast. So all of these tentacles are really intertwined and work together to feed the octopus, just like this guy. But as you do that, you really have to have an objective. You can't have a social media strategy without an objective, and that objective may be different for any company. In our case, we're trying to drive more traffic to our website, so for us, our objective is referrals. We want to grow the referrals we get from social media, and we already get a significant amount of referrals. Facebook is actually the number 3 referrals to Mixer after direct and search. So we want to grow the referrals. That's our objective in our social media strategy. And your objective might be different, but you need to know what your objective is. What's neat about the octopus that I learned is an octopus can lose one of its tentacles. Just like you see a lizard lose its tail and grows it back, well, an octopus can jettison a tentacle and grow a new one. So when you look at your strategy, you should do the same thing. You should look at your tentacles, and if you find that one's not working for you or it's not getting the results you need, you might consider jettisoning it. So maybe podcasts aren't really what you need. So get rid of the podcast tentacle, and you can always grow another one, just like the octopus. So it's a very smart way to organize your social media outposts. Another thing about a good strategy is it should be invisible. What you're doing should not look like a strategy to your followers, to your community, to your customers. It should feel very organic. They should see what you're doing and you should get the results, but they shouldn't say, aha, they're doing that because it's part of their strategy. And that's something I learned from the octopus too. As you might know, the octopus is actually one of the most capable creatures on the planet in terms of camouflage. They have an uncanny ability to camouflage themselves. So if you look at this coral reef, there's an octopus right there in front of the coral reef. You see the octopus? Of course, you can see it, can't you? You see him? There he is. Come on. Oh, there he is. Look at that. He just revealed himself. It's like magic. So they have an uncanny ability to be invisible, and your social media strategy should be invisible too. So in summary, your strategy is an octopus. You want to know what your objective is. That's the most important thing. You want to choose your tentacles, look at the outposts that you're using, decide which tentacles are important for you. Maybe it's 4, maybe it's 6, maybe it's 8, but this is a great way to organize them and keep track of those tentacles. And then understand how they work together, intertwine, and understand how they work independently of each other. And then, of course, jettison the ones that aren't working, try something else. And lastly, do everything you can to make it all organic so that it's really invisible and it's not obvious that what you're doing is part of your strategy. So that's how your social media strategy is an octopus. Thank you.